Okay. And we're live. Okay. Camera. Okay. Hey y'all. Welcome back to episode 7 of Show and Tell. I know we're taking a little break, and that's okay. Because we just got a little, we got to keep it cute, got some little things together. Thank y'all all so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing to Take TV. Please make sure you subscribe to Show and Tell. Oops, the hair, my bad. Make sure you subscribe to Show and Tell. Like, comment, share this. This is gonna be a good episode. I'm so excited because this is one of my homegirls. We like recently just kind of like became friends, but like I have been peeping her on Instagram for a minute, and then like things just kind of. Sorry, my waves got crossed over. Anyway, things just kind of flourished and they just kind of came together. I didn't mean to do that. We're not scissoring. Things came together, and now we are good friends. We are homies. We're close to being besties. And I think y'all gonna love this episode. She is a baddie, one of my baddie friends. You know how it is when we gotta step out. Looks on point, hair on point, makeup, all that. That's most of my friends, actually. So, but anyway, you know how it goes. I'm so excited for y'all for me to introduce you, if you don't already know who she is, to my Boujee Stoner. Her name is Shy, aka Terpshy, and she's coming on here today, and we're gonna have a good time. I wish we could smoke, but we're not smoking, unfortunately. But that's okay, because if we do a Patreon, it's gonna do it. So y'all, without further ado, give a wonderful, loving round of applause or kiss, blow a kiss, something to my friend Shy. Come on, Shy, come in. I'd be like, can I get a little piece? I mean, reminds me of that Trina quote. She was like, feel sorry for you, might let you borrow some ass. What song was that off of? Dun, 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 dun. All right,
Girl.
baddest bitch is back. Okay. Hi, friend. Hi. Okay, first of all, we got the green.
I know. On
Looking
point.
very emerald, jewel toned. I got my gold on too. And we both have black straight hair,
Right. This is the first too. You've never.
I know, because you
usually
always,
seen
your hair is usually curly. Like, well, not
Yeah.
curly, but you usually wear it like with a curl though. But I'm loving the straight look.
Thank you.
It's very on cultural point. Does that make sense? Because you were.
Yes.
Wait, do Filipinos have straight hair?
Actually, some don't. Filipino is like, I don't know. I'm probably gonna be wrong when I say this, but usually Filipinos, they're mixed with other Asians. Like I have a good percent of Chinese in me. I have like 13% Chinese, but a lot of Filipinos do. But honestly, I'm not gonna lie. If you see like real like Filipinos, the ones that are like in the mountains and like
Filipino,
they look black.
Filipinos. They look black?
Yeah.
You know what? I can kind of understand that, because usually Pacific Islanders, their skin is actually darker because obviously they're closer to the equator.
Yeah.
And people who reside closer to the equator usually have darker skin. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what? I think maybe I have seen that on a documentary or something like
For
that.
sure.
Now that I'm like kind of playing brain scan in my head. I think I've probably seen that before. Wow, I didn't know that though.
Yeah. And I think because like the Philippines is so close to like, the other countries like China, like it's definitely diluted the Filipinos.
So y'all kind of like another version of Taiwanese people, because Taiwanese people, to my knowledge, are like a mix of, why do I keep doing this like scissoring? They're kind of like a mix of they're a mix of Japanese people and Chinese people, to my knowledge. I used to work at this like Taiwanese restaurant back in New York City. Shout out to Whole Foods. Love y'all. Hey Rich. That was my place. I love Asian cuisines. And side note, I love dining with, can I just say Asian people?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't want to be rude. I love going out to eat with Asian people because they eat family style. And like that, I have copied and picked up on those ways, because you can eat like that. I try to when I go out to eat with my black friends, like I try to tell them like, y'all, let's eat family style. But black people, I don't know, you know black people because you've been around black people your whole life. You know black people don't like to share sometimes. So I just be like, well, dang, y'all, why can't we just, try a bunch of different
Right.
stuff? Well, what if I don't like this? But I'm like, anyway, but I love eating family style. But that's not what we came on. That's not what you're here on the show to talk about.
Right.
Being Asian and eating family style.
A good start.
But let's talk about you being in cannabis. Like, first of all, shout out to you. Boujee Stoner Club officially
you.
launched.
Thank you.
That is your line.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited. Being an Asian in cannabis in Michigan
Right.
is like, you stand out so much.
Right.
But let's just start. Let's talk about, like, like, when did you get into cannabis? Like, how has that been? I feel like you're very. When I think about cannabis, like, in women, there's so many different faces, and you're just a face of it. You're your own face, your own lane, and I love that. But yeah, tell me, how did you get started? Like,
well, I've been in cannabis for a really long time. I would say, right when it started to get like legalized here, and that was what, 08,
2008, yeah, in Michigan.
09?
We're in Michigan,
Yeah.
yeah, 08, 09, yeah.
Okay, so maybe it was like 2010 when I
You have been in the game for
for
a
a minute.
minute. So people don't know that.
Oh, they don't know. They have no idea.
Okay,
Like they
okay,
have
yes.
no idea. I have a long resume of things I've done from the beginning.
Right.
So obviously my boyfriend at the time, he started growing and I was helping him with his grows. So I actually used to grow weed. Yeah.
Oh, you used to grow?
Yeah, and he wasn't too familiar. He was just wanting to get into the game, and so I remember having to tell him like, this is what it's supposed to look like, and blah blah blah. I remember our first time like trimming weed together because that was my first time too. And I remember us going back and forth, and he was just like, you're cutting too much off. And I'm like, no, we got to cut those leaves off. Like, he was just like, no, that's the plant, isn't it? And I'm just like, no, we have to just get to the bud. He's just like, well, you're going to mess up the weight. And I'm just like, you got a lot to learn.
You got a lot to learn. Oh
You got a
my
lot
God.
to-
You're tripping. What, do you want to smoke the leaves or do you want to smoke the butt?
Yeah, but he had no like concept of like what the finished product was. He's thinking it was like done. And I'm like, I don't think this is right, guys.
Get off the plant.
Yeah, seriously. So it evolved into the grow was doing good, involved him opening up a dispensary. And obviously in Michigan that was still like very like gray area. And I was working as a receptionist at first. I like removed myself from helping grow. He had other help, and then I was just technically like helping him trim.
Yeah.
And then obviously I was a receptionist too, which I eventually moved up to being like manager, and I was kind of doing behind the scenes type stuff.
Oh wow.
And then we got raided.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then we got raided.
Oh my gosh, were you there when you got raided?
I had pulled up to the scene and I was thinking like, I seen like the undercover cop cars,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't clicking. I was just thinking like, oh, just another day, at
Yeah.
work. But it's funny, I was actually there when like, I knew when like a cop came undercover one time to the dispensary with like all fake information. There's no way for us to tell, this is,
Right.
he came with like a real like Michigan ID. It was legit and everything, paper. And this is when paperworks were like acceptable
Right.
at the time.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he had everything looked good. So, and I remember processing him too. So there was a couple incidents that we were just like, something seems sketch, like something seems like it's gonna go down, and eventually did.
Yeah.
So I pulled up, and it was funny. It was actually the landlord of the building who came and grabbed me and was just like, don't go up there. You guys just got raided. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? So he hides me in one of his other rooms. Yes. He hides me in one of his other rooms, and I'm seeing them going through the place, going in and out, and I'm seeing them pulling out, the other employees. I've seen them pull out my boyfriend and the other workers, and like they got all in the cop cars, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm like, well, what do I do now? So they eventually leave, whatever, and they actually came to my house, and because I went home, I didn't know what else to do. I went home. They came to my house and raided the house while I was there.
While
Yeah.
you were there at the house?
Yes.
So, wait, hold on.
I know this is
The
probably
same
this is
day?
like a lot.
The same day?
The same day.
Oh my god! So like you were there at the place, and then you came home, and then while you were home, they was like, oh.
Yeah, they literally pulled up like within like an hour or so.
Were they like, get on the ground, blah blah blah?
Luckily, they didn't do that, but they came like 6 deep, I mean, like, and we were at a rental house that was on a corner lot, so the whole corner was lit up, and
Damn! Oh
you seen the whole house light up, and I'm like, wow, this is really about to go down.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, yeah. So.
Oh my god! Were you scared?
No, because I didn't feel like I didn't do anything,
Right,
so I'm like,
right.
what are you gonna do? You came and you trashed my place, because they went through everything. They even went through cereal boxes. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I think.
I mean, they watch a lot of movies, but it's okay.
Cereal ain't cheap though. No.
Yeah, and I was just like, come on, like, all right, it is what it is. So yeah, I mean, we went through all that court, going back and forth for like 5 years. We went to court for 5 years to for all that just to be dismissed under entrapment, because that's what it was. You came in there with your fake stuff, and that's what the
Right.
judge that's what he said. He was just like, you went in there with your fake ID and your fake paperwork. What did you what you did was essentially, not right. So
Yeah.
they dismissed it based on those grounds, because technically we were doing everything we were supposed to.
Yeah.
They didn't want, it's just because they didn't want us Oakland County,
Yeah.
They didn't want us there.
Where was this in Oakland County?
Yeah, the Southfield.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oakland County is so.
I know. Yeah,
I'm not even about to.
we know. Believe us, we know.
I'm curious. Do you remember who your judge was? You went to circuit court.
Yes. I could be wrong, but I feel like Summers.
Summers, Julie
Yeah.
Summers. I think her name is Julie.
maybe.
No, that's Julie Nicholson.
There was, I don't know, that rings a bell. That could be for a different
Yeah,
case.
I got
but-
you. I got you. Okay. I was wondering who it was. Oh, Oakland County.
Yeah.
They so. You see why dudes don't be crossing past 8 Mile.
I mean, there's a reason.
OD.
So after that happened, obviously we had crossed 8 Mile. It was like, peace out, Oakland County. And we relocated over there. Obviously, laws were still whatever, and I just kind of felt like I needed to get into something a little bit more stable and a little more secure, something that wasn't still like up in the air. So I eventually branched off and started my own business.
Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I opened up a salon. Yes.
It was not nails. I don't.
Girl, you on a roll.
What kind of salon?
An aesthetics based salon, so we do
I've-
eyelashes, makeup, spray tan, waxing,
Oh,
pretty much
waxing?
everything.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. And so I still have the salon today, but that I wouldn't say was my passion. Cannabis is really my passion. Like, I've been
Right.
in the game for long enough. I mean, I've always been smoking. I can't remember the last time I took a tolerance break. I don't even know what that is. That doesn't exist in my world. Yeah. So, and honestly, like, even all my clients at the salon, they know I'm smoke. I come in there blazing all the
Blaze,
time.
like-
It's just, it is what it is,
Right,
you're gonna
right.
either accept it or you don't. So that being said, I mean, obviously the salon wasn't my passion. That's just what I kind of fell into, and it was great. But I always knew I wanted to get back into cannabis. And obviously it took a long time for Michigan to kind of get their shit together.
Right.
So they're still trying to get their shit together. But, work in progress.
Work in progress.
I decided I need to figure out how I need to get back into cannabis in my own lane. And obviously outside of actually like selling or dealing with actual cannabis is what I was trying to avoid.
right. You're
So
on the ancillary side.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I came across, I think just like doing research and stuff, and I came across a couple actually cannabis influencers, and I realized, oh, this might be a lane for me to kind of reopen like that avenue for me, and so that's just kind of what I did. So I transformed my then personal page into kind of a cannabis based influencer page, and I just kind of took what kind of work I could get and put myself out there, and
What kind of work like were you first receiving when you first like decided to make that transition?
it was more like trade kind of thing. So they'd be like, "Oh, we'll send you this if you just post a photo with, our product, or tell people your review about it and that kind of thing." And there was a lot of that. That's kind of what happens in the beginning, especially when you're like a micro influencer. You kind of got to do stuff for free to kind of get yourself out there. It just is what it is.
Right. So people can know. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I started off, and then obviously I had my own ideas. I just didn't know how to go about them, and I had to do my own research and figure out how I was going to produce the ideas I had in my head, as far as like accessories, and I definitely I wanted to go in that line because I also seen that there wasn't too many like upscale, fancy, like
Aesthetically
bougie,
pleasing.
like
Yeah.
exactly, aesthetically pleasing for most women in cannabis. It's just you see what's out there, and it's like, I hate to use the word like tacky or like,
No, but let's be for real.
yeah,
It looks kind of tacky though sometimes. It
the
does.
stuff for the women is
Yes.
very so small, and everything is so masculine and so like colorful, or like just not like,
Hokey.
yeah, yeah, like tacky. I hate to say
Yeah.
it, but yeah, they
It's not cute.
yeah. So I knew that's what I wanted to like help with, because obviously there's still fortunately a stigma when it comes to cannabis, and I'm such an advocate that like I'm just like, look, this doesn't have to be perceived this kind of way, you know. Stoners don't look a certain way,
Right. No, they
you
don't.
know.
Yeah.
Anybody can be a stoner.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you are, where you
you
are bracket.
dress.
Yeah, just a judge. I mean literally I know a lot of people in the professional world who they all smoke, you know. You would never think a lot of these people smoke, but they really do. So I just wanted to help with that stigma and like help normalize, cannabis use, and just the stigma it has against it, and how it looks, and how the type of people who use it, how they look. Like that's not the case. So that's really how I came with like Boujee Stoner, because
Yeah.
it's what I am. I
That's
mean,
what you are.
yeah, I really am. I'm bougie, but I'm definitely a stoner.
Stoner. Yeah,
So
I know for real though. Like I can't hang with you.
okay, see.
I mean, but you do smoke. Like
Yeah.
y'all, Shy smokes. Like I'd be like, okay, we about to light another one. All right.
You can't outsmoke me.
I
I would
can't.
like
I
to
know.
see who can, but you really can't, I'm just not some cute little stoner that's like, and it kills me because I've had those comments too, like guys like trying to troll my page, like, I bet she doesn't know how to roll. I've been rolling since I was 15, okay?
Okay.
Like swishers. We're talking about swishers, okay? Back when
Right.
they were,
Right, I'm not rolling no
okay,
joints, I'm
these are
rolling
vet
blunts.
lungs, okay? These can handle the worst. So yeah.
No, girl, you definitely be smoking for real. I
Yeah.
love doing dabs with you. I like smoking with you, but I cannot keep up. Like, and I will come on my show and admit that I cannot keep up with you. When you smoking, you be having me so stoned, like high, like checked out, and I'm have to, you know what? I have to, like I said this last time we were together. And we smoked. I was like, I need to prep before I know I'm about to hang out with you. So I need to face like 4 blunts before I hang out with. But I mean, it be like that though sometimes.
I mean, at least unlimited smoke over here.
I mean, I know, right? At least I know what time it is. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
about to be with Shy. Let me grab my water in my
Grab-
water.
Yes.
Because I'm about to smoke. So, like, okay, so with you deciding to go the influencer route and like be on Instagram is your platform. I noticed that you first started off with like doing like you said, you did little promo pictures, but it kind of turned into modeling,
Right.
in a way, doing like cannabis modeling. And I noticed that your modeling from like other cannabis influencer modeling was really well put together. I mean, from the photography to like the items that you wore, the way you had your angles, the way you smoked, like you can tell you put a lot of time and effort into producing such great quality content. Do you think that was part of the reason why you kind of like blew up fast? Because you've only been doing this for how long now?
Um, I would say, geez, it might be a little bit over a year
A
now.
little bit over a year. And
Yeah.
you're at 22K followers,
Yeah.
22,000 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Really, yes. I mean, I was very strategic in the beginning, but I also like reached out for a lot of help. Like, I mean, obviously I did everything I thought I was supposed to when it comes to Instagram and its algorithm, and I did the hashtags and I did the tags and all that kind of stuff. And some of that actually like definitely helped, you know. Also with Instagram, I think when I first was posting stuff, I was posting a little bit more risque stuff just to get the numbers up.
Okay.
And
So,
I mean, it definitely worked. But then I realized, I mean, I'm not trying to attract such a male audience because that's what it was kind of doing. That it did help with the numbers, but obviously that wasn't like my goal was to just be like sexy and like smoking weed. But I did get help along the way. I mean, there was other companies that shouted me out with like
okay.
bigger followings.
Yeah.
That one company specifically had like reposted my one of my photos and like tagged me in it to where it's shared on their page.
Yeah.
And that jumped my followers like almost
What
10K.
company was this?
Oh my gosh, girl, I don't want to like mispronounce their name, but I think it's Gavant Gavanti. It was a light company,
Oh,
LED
okay.
light company.
Oh,
I
okay.
had posted a photo of me like in a grow, and
Oh,
the light was in it, and it was like blatantly like on like
one
the
of the,
light that it looked
yeah.
really nice, and I just tagged them in it, and they ended up resharing that photo,
Oh,
and
wow.
it blew up like literally overnight. I
Wow.
gained probably 10K followers. It was crazy.
Dang.
Yeah, but it doesn't obviously like there's good and bad when it comes to it because then you got people who have their opinions and they see the weed and they're like, oh, but so, it's not always great with Instagram, but you just got to deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Are the guys like when you first started out, like what kind of weird messages were you getting or weird things? I mean, and you said guys were saying like, "Oh, you don't know how to roll," but like, were men being really weird and creepy? Did you
Oh,
have women
yeah.
being creepy and weird too, or?
Luckily, there wasn't really women that did like negative anything. There was one that was just like, oh, just because you make everything cute means it's like cannabis related. I'm like, that was kind of my point, but all right, girl, like say your piece and move along. Like blocked, like, okay,
Right, like
sorry.
you want to be cute and smoke weed.
Yeah, I was like, okay, blocked. Like,
What else do you want me to do?
yeah, I'm like, that was the point, but okay.
You want me to save the world?
Yeah, weird flex. All right. Um, okay, I lost my train of thought.
Okay, no, we're talking about guys and
Oh,
people being
okay.
really weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously you get the weirdos who are just like, oh, I want to smoke with you, or, like, I, love for you to try my products one day and be like his, like, BS he grew in his backyard or something,
Yeah.
yeah, they'd be like trying to give you a gram for free just to like, yeah, yeah, like
1 gram.
you get those. You get a lot of that just thinking like you're gonna like jump out of your seat because they're like trying to offer you, I don't know, a
Some
joint.
free weed.
I'm
Right,
like,
yeah.
okay, no, I'm
Weed is
sorry.
in
This is like
abundance.
trying to be professional here. I'm trying to show like, yeah.
Have you run into like even like men or just people like once you started working with bigger brands, like and I know you have the modeling pictures and you had some risque pictures. Like, did you run into any issues with like working with bigger brands or like men being unprofessional or people trying to like talk to you in that some type of way or or treat you in a certain way, maybe mistreat you or be kind of rude and stuff?
Mm,
Actually, I want to know, has anybody categorized you as an IG baddie from the work you from your Instagram portfolio stuff?
I mean, they might have not used those exact words, but they'll be just like, oh yeah, she's an Instagram model, or,
Right.
and just kind of like, I like to roll my eyes about it because it's like, obviously that's what I initially did to like get into it, but like that's not my end goal.
End
I
goal.
don't want to just look like some like model. That's why, I'm trying to use my platform for so many things other than that. I mean, I'm trying to like collab with companies and do like a lot of things outside of just modeling,
Yeah.
That just is what I use to get my foot into the door.
Yeah.
And it worked, so I'm not trying to knock it. I love it. I just wasn't trying to be a model. That's
Right.
just, yeah, was
Right.
what my
Did you have any issues like with people ever like not trying to take you seriously or anything like that, or just thought like, oh, just you're just I'm just here being pretty and smoking weed?
I definitely think that's a lot of the case when it comes to when, you get introduced to, say, like the owners, and to kind of go back to, your other question as far as like other owners or people, have they been professional or not? For the most part, most people are. But I have obviously ran into guys who, I don't want to say don't take me seriously, but like will try to, will cross that line when they
Right.
shouldn't,
Yeah.
It's just like I'm trying to be professional and you've seen I present myself professionally, and then they might say something that's just like, okay, buddy, like you just crossed the line. I will never work with
No
you
more
again.
work with you. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's not the vibe I'm trying to set off. And, at the end of the day, everyone's got a reputation. And in the cannabis community, I like to think I'm pretty close to a lot of the people in the community, outside like the kind of the corporate side of it, and like, the community side of it, where we all come together and, we like know these brands and talk about them and stuff like that. Like,
Right.
yeah, like I'm definitely not trying to be one of those girls out here that's like, I'm slowly climbing the ladder too, and I'm going to do it the right way. And I want to make sure I'm respected for how I present myself, and, etc. So you do get some people who try you, but then you just got to work with the ones who realize your potential and what you bring to the table, and obviously how hardworking, you are, and etc. So I think that will always prevail. And so kind
Yeah.
of,
I'm with you on that. What's like the so far like what is the most impactful contact that you have made that's like really been like besides, you know, the what I'm trying to say is through your time, becoming an influencer, what people have you met along the way that has really like kind of helped you propel even further into like, success in regards to like, getting your line together, getting your name out there, helping your followers grow at the same time too. I don't think I'm asking the same question twice though. But like any particular brands that have really been like really supportive to you or like always putting you on or
I definitely got to shout out North Coast.
yes, yes, North
Yes,
Coast.
they are my people. I mean, they definitely. I love Travis.
Travis. Hey,
Yes,
Travis.
Travis. Shout out to you. Can't. Okay, my camera's over there. Shout out to you. Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's just been amazing, and I mess with him the most because like I get the same vibe as far as like just the hustle mentality, just out here grinding, and to kind of also answer your question, networking. Like I seen him at a handful of events that we didn't like even tell each other about. We just both ended up there, and like it just brought obviously our relationship like closer. So like we would now be like, oh, are you going to this, or will you pop up to this, or and obviously I stand by their products. Their products are amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
anything North Coast touch is like top of the line, and obviously is why I kind of really respect the brand and the name, because I feel like they give that same bougie vibe
They
too.
do. The
You
gold
know,
and the black and the white.
that I
The
mean the
packaging is so
packaging, and then
nice.
it's just obviously like I know how there's some people who are like, oh, packaging shouldn't be like whatever. I mean, it should be, but they also have fire product to stand behind it too, you know? So
Yeah.
you're not just opening up this pretty case and it's like weed in it. Like
Oh.
all their stuff is fire. Like
I actually was smoking one of their donuts the other day, and
love that.
the donuts are really good. They do have fire products.
Yeah.
Shout out to North Coast. So yeah, like that was the thing though, because I find it even in my own times, like men, when I was trying to be more of a cannabis influencer, like I ran into like little issues with people being weird and inappropriate.
Right.
And I just feel like brands need to know, or just people who have companies, like, don't be weird. If you see a beautiful woman and she likes to smoke, like your business and everything else would go a longer way, would go much further if you're not trying to be weird and try to get on, rather
Right.
than like, hey, how can we work together? You know, how can I hope you help me, you know, a little situation, kind of like how you got going on with Travis. So
Exactly.
that's very key and important. But you said you started smoking at 15. What was your first smoke experience?
Oh man. Okay.
Yes, I want to know.
Well, so well, I've been around weed obviously younger than that. I used to live with my cousin who was a lot older than me. She maybe like 5 years different at the time. So I was like 12 and she was like 16, 17 at the time. She had these friends that used to come over to the house that obviously had weed. And I mean, we're talking about, come on, I mean, what is this? Early 2000s, gotta be 2000, 2001,
One,
2002,
yep,
something
yep.
like that.
Mhm.
Gosh, did I just age
It's
myself?
okay. No, nobody knows.
They're gonna be calculating like,
Like, what? And how old is she now? Let's
right.
do that.
So that was my first time being around it. I didn't smoke at that age just because, like, obviously, too, I was just like, oh, drugs, you know, I'm 12, you know, like, you know, and they were older than me too. So, but I was around it, you know,
Right.
and I seen what it did to them or whatever. And I just was like, whatever about it. It didn't really came about until I was like 15 that, like, obviously I was now in high school and I was around my own peers and yeah, peer pressure. I mean, it looked cool. Obviously, you've seen people like it'd come around and like I was like, well, fuck it, you know, like I wanted to try it, and it was like game over at that point. And this is when we used to smoke out of like
Water bottles?
water bottles because didn't nobody know how to roll. And then I mean, not even that. I think we were too young to like. Did anybody even have enough to go in on like, you know, a sack? You know, it was more like,
right.
you know, them little tiny bags with all the
All the little
stems and
dimes.
seeds.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
gosh.
We used to get played, honestly.
Yo, listen, I do remember that. I remember when I first started smoking and I had dime bags, and like my homegirls, like they would come to my house and we would smoke in the car, and I would always tell them, like, whatever you do, like I don't like littering in the first place, but I'm like, don't throw the dime bags out the window. One of them just did not listen, threw them out the window, and my mom you know, she saw them and she picked it up and she was like, "Are you doing crack?" And I'm like, "Damn, girl, like, crack? Is that the first thing? You're not gonna go to weed? You're not gonna go to cocaine?" Like, I mean, well, see, I was like young, but I couldn't afford cocaine, but like,
Right.
you gonna go straight to crack? Like, do I give you crack vibes? Like, what? And I used to be so annoyed with that, and I'm like, I didn't even like, you know, those, I didn't even know crack came in those little Ziploc. But she's like, yes, and I used to see these in front of the house all the time, like our house in Detroit. So they, for context, we're smoking at my house in the suburbs, and she was like, I always see these in front of the house in Detroit, and I just be like, well, girl, like, I'm not doing crack,
Right.
but like, what the hell? But yeah, no, we definitely used to get played off them little bags. It used to be like $10, or like I remember they used to be like 3 for 25.
In these
Three.
tiny little bags. And I mean, okay, so this is how long I've been smoking. I mean, first of all, my drug dealer's name was Low.
That's a common drug dealer name.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, we used to, well, I'm not going to start naming off streets, but you know, he was a very popular drug dealer that people would literally, it'd be like a drive-through service, just in and out, pulling out. I mean, I remember waiting one time, like, because he had a line. We would just be sitting there, like, waiting for him to get done, talking to people, because he was cool with everybody, too. So he's there chopping it up and stuff like that. And, like, it would just be so funny. Lo used to obviously, like, our bags were a lot different from him versus like other people. Some people were cheap, but like, I mean, I used to get them in them little like, did you ever get them in them little clear vials? That's just like, why would you put weed
The
in
little
this?
trash cans.
Is that what little trash
Is that
cans?
about like I had some that were like they look like little mini trash cans.
Yeah, they were
and,
like
little
mini, like
tubes.
yes.
Yes, yeah. I used to come little trash cans.
I used to get so mad because I'm like, look at me trying to get this like weed out of this. I'm like, well, come on, like come on. And I mean, from everything, I mean, little
we
like
didn't come a long way.
yes, a long way. Okay, that's funny.
So you used to get from him, and then like where did y'all used to go? Where was your smoking spot?
I used to like to drive and smoke a lot. So me and my homegirl at the time, and she's also someone I put on weed.
Okay.
We used to just ride around and smoke and that's just what we like to do. Obviously, we were still young and stuff. Okay, so when I was 15, I wasn't some like, it's not like I was smoking every single day.
Right.
You know, it's kind of when you could, who, you know, put 5 on it,
Right.
you know.
Yes. Or you trying to match?
Yes. Oh,
my
my gosh.
gosh.
Remember when? Oh my God. I used to think I was a baller when I had like a 20 on it. I'd be like, I got it, guys. Get the whole like crew like high and stuff. We go to the liquor store and just buy all the snacks.
Right. Oh, I remember those days. Oh my
So it
gosh.
wasn't. I wouldn't say it wasn't an everyday situation for me up until obviously I got 18. So it was high school, was just kind of like when we could situation. I'll never forget though the one time my mom caught me. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I was probably 16, 17 at the time, and she had came home and I must have been really high or something. I didn't air out the house or something. She smelled it.
Smoked in the house?
Yes. I know. I was crazy, but it was whatever. Yes, my house was one of the smoke houses because my mom used to work late. So I had that crib to myself, and I was like an only child. So I
Yeah.
had the crib to myself like a lot of, you know, the
Right.
time. So it'd usually be like, okay, we're either gonna smoke in this garage or smoke at my crib.
Right.
So yeah, so one time I didn't air it out or something. I didn't spray stuff down. She smelt it on the blanket. And I remember she called me out of my room
Oh my goodness.
and she like had this blanket in her hand and she's like, smell this. And I'm like, oh, what's wrong with it? She's like, what does that smell like? It was empty, but she threw her coffee cup at me.
Oh,
Yeah, literally. She like launched it at me. I mean, it like hit my like arm or something like
was
that.
it
you know?
glass? Plastic?
Yeah, it was like that, not glass, but you know, that ceramic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like the Starbucks one? Was that Starbucks ceramic? I don't know.
Just
That's
a regular
That's-
ceramic,
She just threw
like
some
a plate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
literally.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It sounds a lot worse than what it was. I mean, she knew to like aim low, so like hit my arm or something like
Yeah.
that. And I was just like, damn, like, I'm like, now she knows. Now she thinks I'm like doing every drug in the book, you know? So
And not be the one. I don't know why the parents over exaggerate. Like you smoking weed, but I guess that was a common. That's their
right,
perception.
right. So I got in a lot of trouble for that. So we couldn't smoke at my place.
What was your punishment?
I think I was like grounded for like a month or something like that. But then it was just like every time like I hung out with a friend, like, oh, you gonna go smoke weed? You're gonna do drugs? And I'm like, shit.
You're gonna do. I hate that. You're gonna go do drugs. You know, it took a while for me and my mom to get on the same. Like for my mom to get on the to be okay. And I don't even say she's still okay with me smoking weed nowadays, but it took a while because her perception was like, oh, you're smoking weed, you're going to eventually go do
Right.
crack and
Right.
heroin. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't have a desire to do all that. That sounds
Right.
like a bunch of liabilities, and that sounds like team too much for me. And I don't want to play with my life like that. So I'm gonna keep it cute with just the green though. But like her thing was always like, when it became legal, she was like, well, that's only for people who have like pain or stuff like that. And I'm like, I got my own little issues. Like I got cramps though
Right.
sometimes, or like sometimes I feel like when I smoke, it just kind of makes me. I'm like high energy, but when I smoke, it kind of just brings me down and makes
For
me like
sure.
society normal
Yeah.
or whatever that's supposed to be. But like parents don't get it. And then like it wasn't until I started when I became an entrepreneur and I was doing more I had more cannabis clients. clients, and the checks were coming in, and I'm showing her like, look, this is my check from weed, and I still smoke weed, and these clients, weed, but I'm getting paid. You know what I'm saying? I'm showing all
Right.
that. I think from that point on, she was kind of like, oh, okay, I can kind of see that you can still have some type of success and still be a smoker. I'm not like but then I didn't want her to equate with me trying to be like a functioning like crackhead or something like that. She's
Right.
very, she goes there. So I don't want to do any of this. So you were 15 smoking. You're from Southwest Detroit though, right?
Yes, I mean, I've lived there parts of my life, but if anything, I mean, I've kind of lived everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
mostly Dearborn, in and out of Dearborn. I've lived on the east and west side of Dearborn.
Ah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I've jumped around a lot.
What's it like being Asian growing up in those communities? Because that's a predominantly Arabic
Girl,
community or Middle Eastern. I don't
I
know the right verbiage. Please don't
yes.
cancel me. I don't know what the right.
I say Arabic, and
I think it's Arabic too.
it, I mean, essentially is. You might have some people, I don't know who would really argue with that. I mean, I grew up in Dearborn, so I'm gonna say Arabic.
That's what they told
And
you to
like, what you
say.
gonna do?
Right.
You're Arabic. Like, that's just what I know. Um, it's, I mean, when you're Asian, you're always like singled out. I'm not gonna lie. It don't
Right.
matter where I went to school at. I was always one of the very few. If not, I've been to a school where I was the only Asian until there was this one foreigner that like was an exchange student from like Japan. I'm like, that did not help at all. It's
Did they come up to you and start talking to you? Or?
no, that did not
Oh,
happen. No, because I did not. Obviously, like, it's even funnier. Other like Asians, they can clearly see I'm a different type of Asian.
yeah.
To other Asians, I probably look less Asian because
Really?
possibly, in my opinion. I mean, you put me next to like someone who's like Japanese or Chinese, I look less Asian in my opinion.
Really? I feel like, well, I don't see too many Asian people that much
Yeah.
on a daily
Well,
basis. So,
yeah, there's just not too many of us out here. At least kind of the areas I grew up in, they're not that many out that way. So it was always it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. You have your moments of tough skin just because obviously you always felt singled out. I mean, don't think they didn't crack like, oh, look at your eyes, or your Chinese. Yeah. Girl, I got it
especially
all.
when you smoked, that did not help.
Oh my God. You already know you got that video of
I
me
do
looking
got that video.
crazy.
We need to put that in there. Like,
Oh my God.
Shy, open your eyes. Shy, open your eyes.
I'm like, they're open. They're open. This is it. I can see. That's all I can tell you.
But you know what? I think that you being the only one kind of like also set the stage for you to be kind of like a standout as an Asian, as a Asian cannabis influencer in the cannabis industry, because I don't really know too many Asian cannabis. Well, there's this one girl, Jean 420. I don't.
Yeah,
Jean,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think we both met her at the kayaking thing, right?
She was there.
Yeah.
Listen, don't give me.
Girl.
Well, where was I that day? Was I? Well, listen, I was high that day too. I
Yeah.
don't remember meeting her at the
Yeah,
thing
she was there. Yeah.
Sorry, Jean, my bad girl. I'm so sorry. True, true. I know. Maybe if I see the pictures. Okay, but yes, her, and then, the fact that you're like kind of like the only one, in a way, it kind of, I personally would think that you kind of like opening up doors for more Asian kids to want to go other routes, because I know culturally rise, it's more like tech, doctor,
Right.
or law, or something very professional, not cannabis. So there's so much to say, and I think having that representation, you having a representation in that industry, I think that's a really wonderful thing, and I think that's like a really positive thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if you got more girls, like as you continue to grow over time and the brand grows, you have more girls like that want to be into that, come up to you or reach out to you and say, hey, how can I get started? How can I be like this? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you've ever thought about it like that though, but it's some perks to
I
being,
actually haven't, and so I appreciate you bringing that up because you're right. Now that I think about it, there's really not too many that I can think of who are actually even in the game. I mean, I've been to a lot of facilities, whether it's a grow or a dispensary, And yeah, I don't really see too many Asians around. So yes, I do have that to my advantage. So it is cool. I'd say that didn't probably get like to my advantage until like this came
Now,
about.
yeah.
But it's cool that that's like part of my leverage now, because I've noticed that as well, just like meeting the other influencers and just meeting anybody in this game really. Yeah, they're really not. So I think it's really cool, and I appreciate you noticing that. Yeah.
I noticed. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our pot jamma, was it pot jamma? The pot jamma photo shoot that we had at Copper House. It was so diverse, and I think you were
Yes.
the only. I think you were the only Asian there. She only Asian there. I think you were the only Asian there. Yes,
I'm
yes.
sure. I'm
It's
sure.
usually that all the time. Okay, so let's get into my favorite part about the show.
Okay.
What'd you bring for show and tell?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Let me see. I think
Should I
Zach
just
is
grab it?
gonna. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just grab. Oh, what happened to your screen? I can't see it. Oh, what you bring for show and tell?
Okay, so it's nothing. I don't want to say nothing like.
It's not nothing.
Can you imagine if I didn't bring it? Okay.
You better show. You better shake a little show, and we'll tell it later. It's like no. Okay, what'd you bring? Oh, what is that?
Okay, so I mean, it's essentially a lighter, but it's the lighter case that is what I'm showing off.
Okay. Okay. What's okay? So can I see it?
Do you want me to pass it to you?
Yeah. Oh, it's engraving on it. It says Kawaii. It's lighter. Definitely.
Was it off this whole time? Does that mean it wasn't?
Okay. 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 Yes. All right. Oh, did we get the table show?
Yeah. Well, you let me
Are we
know
still
when you bring it
recording?
out.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Okay. All right. So tell me about. Okay. Tell me about your show and your.
Okay, so this is I guess what would you call this? A lighter cover? A lighter holder?
Case. Yeah. Holder.
Case?
Yeah.
I brought this because I got this on my birthday in Hawaii.
Oh.
It was a trip me and my husband took to Hawaii. It was our first time both there. And
marriage. Wifey. Okay, we're gonna get into that. Okay. All right.
and it was our first time both going there, and it was a place we wanted to go to really bad, and we decided to go on my birthday. I can't remember if it was like my 25th or 26th. I think it was 25th.
Mm-hmm.
And the island was very beautiful. It was called Kauai in Hawaii, very top island, and I wanted to go to the most authentic like island. I wanted to go, I didn't want like the city. I didn't want to go to Maui and like see the city life. Like, I wanted just greenery and scenery, and that was it.
Right.
So it was probably one of my favorite trips. And obviously we were at the gift shop or whatever, and I just seen this and I had to have it. And my husband was just like, oh, like, look, the girl on it, like, it kind of looks like you. So, and I've kept it this whole time.
Yeah.
It's been, I don't know, probably a good 6-7 years. Gosh, I keep aging myself.
Don't tell you. They don't need to know. It's
Yeah,
whatever.
it's been a minute.
Whatever
been-
age they think you are, you don't
Yeah,
look it anyway. So.
I've held this on, or I've had this for a minute. And yeah, so it's like every time I obviously use it to like smoke or something, I always look at it
Yeah.
and be like reminded of,
Of that time, it's like
Yeah.
your lucky lighter. Wait, quick question: did you smoke some Maui Wowie while you were there?
not Maui Wowie, but I did smoke, obviously,
You did.
there.
What
Yeah.
was the weed like in Hawaii?
I mean, they get stuff too. I'm sure some way. So it was still good stuff. but I got to try both. So there was definitely like island weed that like people grew themselves, and that was kind of like, okay, you know, it's those conditions are kind of a little tougher to grow in,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure, for when it comes to
Yeah.
weed. So, but we came across people who had like some legit stuff. So
Oh,
there's just
aw.
you can always find stuff when you're out of town.
You know what? It's
That's for
crazy. I
sure.
was literally just having this conversation with my friend this morning actually about like when you go out of town, like real smokers gonna find the weed some way somehow, like or it's gonna whether you brought it with you or you didn't bring it
I
with
mean,
you.
always,
Always. I was
always.
telling about the time when I was in Cuba. I was in Cuba with my homegirl, and she had brought some weed, and we were like, you know, we had some. We weren't necessarily looking for any, but I was like, I wonder what the weed is like in Cuba. And so we met this guy, and he was like, you know, he was like, yeah, I know, I got that thing, you know, whatever. We had already smoked with we I was like, well, like, you know, you want to try some of this like we got from America, whatever. He smoked with us. He was like, okay, this shit, you know, wow, I never had anything like this, like our weed don't taste nothing like this or whatever. He was like, oh, what's your weed taste like? He went, we got some, we ended up buying it for them because, you know, obviously
Right,
you don't need to just be spending unnecessary money on weed. We the tourists or whatever.
right.
And we bought some and we smoked, and it was very earthy. I felt like I was kind of smoking tobacco a little bit, but it was weed because it was a bud. It just wasn't. It wasn't as
Yeah,
strong and potent. What I'm
yeah.
like used to living in the States though. But like we all
Same
always,
experience. Yeah, like
yeah.
same. Yeah, anything that's kind of over there and grown there,
Mm-hmm.
it's unfortunately not that great. I had the same experience when I was in, obviously Jamaica. Hate to
Really?
say it, Jamaica does not have good weed. At least we didn't come
Mm,
across it. Even Mexico, we've gotten some like homegrown stuff that was like, no,
not
honey, like
good. I wonder if it's because it's the tropical conditions. Maybe.
either that or I think they try people sometimes. Like they got to
Mm.
know that there's good stuff out here and like it's easy to get
Right,
nowadays.
especially in Jamaica, but I know
Yeah.
they be in the mountains though. But also maybe also we're probably just our system is just used to more potent cannabis
Mm,
because
possibly.
of
You
like
think?
how it's grown. I think so because of how we grow it here and you know the
Yeah.
things that the resources that we have access to, you know, just the
True.
process of
Yeah.
growing, you know, to make sure your plant is like fully has a lot all the nutrients that it needs, or you flush out all the nutrients that you don't no longer need. You know, I
Right,
don't
right,
know
right.
you know the growing way better than I do, but I think it could also just be the fact that our weed is just more potent. Because even like when you talk to like your when you talk to your OGs or whatever, and they be like, y'all stuff that y'all smoke nowadays is way too stronger from what I'm used to smoking back then. You know, they used to smoke like GAN and stuff like that. But
Right.
it's like they say our stuff is way too strong nowadays. And I think also that's because it's really just THC in it. Now, a lot of the cannabis has like the other I don't want to say they don't have the other terpenes, but the other cannabinoids like CBD, you know, they don't have that balance as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but when you get the packages, it just says like THC, this percentage. You'll never see anything about CBD or CBD,
Right.
CBG, CBGN, none of those other. I could be also wrong, but anyway, yeah, it's not the same. No matter where we go. And Atlanta weed is trash. I haven't had any good weed in Atlanta either.
Really? I
Yeah.
actually I came across good weed in Atlanta, but
Uh,
only because, well, obviously I didn't have weed in Atlanta. It was like a layover situation, so
uh,
um
we're not gonna
right, I was like, oh, keep telling myself.
sell it on our right. I'm like, yeah, I smoked weed in Cuba. It was really good.
Keep telling myself. But we had gotten to an Uber driver car that had a whole bunch of stickers on the back of his on his seats, and one of them had a weed leaf on it. So obviously, I just casually asked, "Oh, where can we get some weed at?" And he would like pretty much
Shoot you.
whipped it all out, and we're just like, "I got everything you need, from papers to." I
Oh,
mean, he literally had the whole like thing in there.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, during COVID like times too. Well, like after COVID, so like
Yeah.
it was when like stores weren't even open, so he literally had everything.
Oh,
Like,
he was like, I got your drive and
yeah,
I
literally,
got
he
your
was like,
ride
you
and your
need
drive.
literally.
Oh, I love
He had
that.
stuff pre-rolled and stuff, and he didn't
Oh.
care. Like, he was just like, "You want to smoke in here?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
What kind of question is that? Yes. I'm in a hotel. I'm gonna
Right.
be smoking outside or
You
in your
can't be
car.
exactly, exactly on the hotel. Okay, so are you a papers person or a blunts person or a leaf person?
Um, well, I guess I would have to say leaf, just because I like king palms, and that's a leaf. I believe it's a banana leaf. Um,
Was oh yeah, the king is the king pops. Me and Sydney had this conversation on a few episodes ago because she was telling me she was gonna smoke a banana leaf. I don't know. No, she said she
or it
was gonna
might
smoke a
be a
banana
palm, an
peel.
actual palm leaf.
No, she was talking about a banana peel, like a peel.
Oh,
But I didn't know palms are actually made out of actual banana leaves.
it says it on there. They're either banana leaves or they got to be the palm leaf itself.
Oh, from the tree. Listen,
Yeah.
I never paid. I need to look that up because
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't know.
It's either one of those two. And I obviously joints are cool. I've always sucked at rolling them, like the papers, just regular. I don't know how people can just roll like with like
Just be like, I have to make
yeah.
mine
Oh
into a
my
cone.
gosh. And
I have
I've
to-
tried though. It's not like I didn't try. I was just like, oh, I can do this. I'm about this life. Like, no. Until obviously cones came out. And I like those. That took a while to figure out because you gotta like stuff them correctly.
correctly.
You know?
Otherwise,
Or
yes.
yeah.
There is a science to sucking. Oh my God.
I cannot with you.
Where is my head?
Yeah.
I need something to drink. There is a
Clearly.
science to stuffing cones.
Yes, and I definitely got it down packed. It took a while, but there is a science to it. You got to pack it correctly.
You got to
or
pack no air.
Yeah, no
No
air. That's a lot of people, and I hate to say it, a lot of like dispensaries, like you guys got to check on your cones because a lot of them are terrible. And even the papers, I'm like, what is this gift wrapping paper? Like, yes, like there's some papers that don't even burn right because I don't know where they're sourcing it from. But yeah, I mean, all that things come into play. So I don't do too much joint papers unless it's my own cones. Boujee Stoner does have their
Yes.
own
Okay. Yes. Because I definitely
cones.
want to talk about juice. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. And obviously I was doing blunts for the longest when I did learn how to roll. And that's a whole story itself.
Tell me.
When I upgraded from the plastic bongs that you made yourself to like having to roll, because then like it was just like, okay, we gotta like step it up. We started smoking more weed, so then it kind of was like, okay, somebody's gotta learn how to roll. And I remember it was actually me, my boyfriend at the time, and then his boy. And of course, they're both looking at me like, you gonna figure this out? And I remember, I think my boyfriend at the time, he was trying to figure it out. His thing was, it was all janky. It was messed up. I had to baby it. I think I eventually had to just break it down and try to like redo it myself.
it
And so I had to force myself to learn how to roll. And so my first blunt ever was trash, but it was smokable.
Smokable. Yes.
We figured it out. And then over time, it just kept getting better. And now, I mean, even though I haven't rolled a joint in a long time, I guarantee I could still like roll the perfect. I mean, it's like nothing for me now.
Yeah, I struggle with rolling them like regular, but like I can, if I have a joint, if I'm rolling a paper, I have to make it into a cone. Like I need a filter and I
Yeah.
like make a cone, make it up.
Yeah.
I like make my own cones.
Yeah.
Stuff
Yeah.
it
Well,
in.
now like they have stuff so advanced now that like I don't do blunts anymore, just because obviously I've been a smoker for so long that I want to obviously try to help my lungs somewhat. So
Yeah.
been just trying to do either joint cones or like the king palms.
Those palms taste so good though. Too.
Yeah, and it's smooth, and I like that it burns slow.
Yeah.
And it's just you got to stuff it, you know. So
Yeah.
you know, it seems almost more timely, but like if you got it figured out and you just have your stuff grounded correctly, like, and I just like how it burns and tastes.
Did you get a chance to try the rose petals from Holly Smokables?
I did it. I did not, unfortunately, get a box. I was too late.
Oh, you didn't get a box.
So I never got a box.
Oh no. Okay, we're
Yeah,
gonna have
I
to
thought
get
I
you
was gonna
one.
have like all this time to like grab one of the
To
boxes
grab
off the
one.
table,
Yeah,
but they
no,
were
them things
gone.
went fast. We're talking about I had a soft launch party for my cannabis concierge company called Euphoria, and Holly Spokables was one of the sponsors there, and she, shout out to Margot, gave out a bunch of different boxes of like rose petal cones, and they're really nice. They came in like a pink and like a yellow, and unfortunately, you didn't get one.
Yeah, they were really pretty.
They
They
were
were really
so
pretty.
pretty,
And I did
and the
want to like try
packaging.
them out. Yeah, and the packaging was on point, you know, just really nice.
Very bougie.
Yeah, giving bougie vibes. So I was a little bummed I missed out on that, but it's all good. I figured, you know, sooner or later I'll
Soon you're
come
gonna get
across
some
them.
more. You're gonna get some more. So
Yeah.
let's talk about your Boujee Stoner Club. Okay,
Okay.
so I've had the privilege of being in one of the campaigns.
You
That
sure
was a
have.
good day. We went to the fair, Oakland County Fair.
You know better than I would.
Oakland County Fair. Only thing is, like, I wish we could have smoked, but we didn't smoke. I mean, just cause
Yeah.
kids and family.
It was a very busy day there.
It was very, yeah, very busy, very congested. But we got a lot of good shots. Shout out to Leandra as well, your
Yes,
photographer.
Leandra.
Like, okay.
She does
Also,
all my shit.
yes, side note, for being an influencer, that is one thing that's really dope, is that like when you go to events, you always have your photographer with you. Like I said, when I get to the point where I got the budget to be able to have somebody with me, I'm gonna have me a professional Snapchatter, but like photographer slash like social media person to gather like content, because it's a lot trying to live up in the moment and gather good shots and stuff at the same time too. So
And that's honestly exactly why I did it. Just because, I mean, obviously, not only was I trying to veer away from like model aspect, I mean, I love the event space of cannabis, you know, like I, that's what I want to be doing, is more type of work like that.
events.
So I obviously wanted to showcase that I'm at these events and I'm hanging out and I'm mingling and networking and doing things like the dabs and whatever. And every event needs a dab bar.
Yeah.
So yeah, that obviously is kind of why I went with that route and always having her there. So definitely shout out to Leandra,
out to
because
Leandra.
she be on point and she
Yes.
be doing her thing.
And the aesthetic, the way she edits and everything is really nice. It very flows well with your whole
Yeah,
aesthetic,
you know,
like
and
the
yeah, and
classy look,
me and
like
her
that.
just, yeah, we get along really well too. So like we developed a friendship just like me and you. Then that's
Yeah.
why I kind of love the community, just because everyone's just been a vibe for one. And we're kind of on the same page and all kind of working towards the same goal. So kind of just made sense. So me and her just clicked and like just worked out our own situation and like, yeah, so
It just came to be. So, Leandra, did she do all the photography for your campaigns for Boujee Stoner Club?
not all of them, just because obviously I had photographers prior to when me and Leandra met, but I met Leandra through obviously this past year. So we've, you know, this is new
Yeah.
between me and her.
Right.
I've had previous photographers, and it's just kind of working out who works best with my flow. Leandra's got more flexible schedules, so that's kind of how that kind of came about. But I do have use other photographers for like product shoots. I have one girl, shout out to Christian. She does a lot of my product like solo shoots, and she kills the game.
Does
I mean, you go on her page, like, I mean, she does professional work. Her work's like in magazines, like,
Oh, so you got a good squad.
yes, I definitely got a good like round of people that I like interact with and do business with, and I love it. I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy the people I interact with. These are not only just people who I work with, but I do see them as my friends, and you know, we talk about other stuff outside of, you know, business. And so it's another reason why I really kind of love this community, and like just keep growing and seeing where or how the dots are connecting, you know.
Yeah. So like the products though. So when you were deciding to start Boujee Stoner Club, like what was your first idea? Like we were thinking about, okay, what are the products that we need, or what are some, how did you get into that headspace? Like what does the Boujee Stoner need? First of all, let's define who the Boujee Stoner is. Like who is she or him or them? Like who is the Boujee Stoner?
Boujee Stoners is really, obviously you got to be a smoker,
Right.
weed smoker, and just, I mean, quaint and cute, and just, want to be not that stereotypical stoner. I'm a business owner. I wear multiple hats. I'm not, the lazy person on the couch laying back and just
Yeah.
watching TV. Like, that's not
Eating.
what being a stoner is. And I just think there was a lack of, like, I don't know, what's the word? Upper class, high end,
Yes.
sophisticated, like,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of us out here that are just like
Right.
me, just like a bougie stoner that just, wants to do stuff in a classy way, It doesn't have to always be a certain vibe. It can be any vibe you want it to be. So anybody can technically be a bougie stoner. But, obviously down to the T, I'm
Down
a
to the
bougie
T.
stoner, you know.
So the products, so you decide, so we've got cones, there's hats, there's bags. What else? Like,
There's bags, there's backpacks, there's so when I initially started Boujee Stoner Club, I actually had a smoking kit that came with a bag, and it had a grinder, stash can, matches, papers, like everything you needed besides weed to
Right.
smoke weed.
right.
And that was my initial product, was this box filled with everything you need to smoke weed, but in a girly way. It was very cute, very quaint. It was pink. All the items were either pink or like rose gold. And that's my first product that I came up with. And then I realized I wanted to expand more to other things, like clothing line and other bags and stuff like that. Because I didn't want to just have this one like kit. I
Right.
knew like I wanted to branch off and have it be a full blown situation. I mean, eventually have like a membership type situation, and
Okay. Oh.
yeah, like event space situation for Bougie Stoner members and that, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still like scratching the surface, but
Yeah.
like that's where my long-term goal is with it. And just trying to normalize cannabis in general and the look of it and stuff, and it can just be cute and just a part of your lifestyle, because
Yeah.
it's part of my
'Cause it
lifestyle.
is. Yeah.
Yeah,
It really
I mean,
is.
I smoke every day, all day, like, so yeah, I mean, why not make it like cute and be part of your aesthetic? Because it's part of my aesthetic. So
Right.
yeah.
Do you have like like a little, like an example of one of your bags or?
Yes, I can show you this right here. Sorry.
Okay, I love the toe. Oh my gosh, I love the leaves. And it doesn't look hokey either. It doesn't look tacky. It looks nice. You know how sometimes
Yes.
the leaves be looking like, oh,
Right.
the
I just
hell?
wanted something a little bit more like simple, and like I wanted to give like obviously Louis Vuitton vibes
Yeah, yeah,
with my own twist to it.
yeah.
So this is what I mean by like bougie stoner. Like, this is like, look how cute it is, my outfit.
Yeah, it is. It is cute with the outfit. It is cute.
Yeah.
And you've got some neutral colors in there too, so you can like you got
Exactly.
the brown, you got the green, the white.
And then like I got it like purple on the inside,
oh, I love royalty. Yes,
Yes,
you do.
just kind of like,
Keeping it dark and yes, it doesn't get all messed.
yes. So this is actually my best-selling bag right
Really?
now. So this is actually the second product I came out with after that the kit that I came out with.
Oh,
Because I knew I wanted to get into the bags, and I wanted to like have my own line of stuff that had like obviously the weed leaves on it, and have it in a classy way to where like, it's funny because I wear this bag a lot. People don't realize it's weed leaves until they're like staring at it, and they're like, oh shit, like is that weed leaves? And I'm
you
like,
know what?
yeah.
I can understand that because they probably think it's just like a regular, just like a leaf, just a regular leaf, but it's actually cannabis leaves. If you
Yeah.
look closer.
So
If you look closer, if you open your eyes. I love that.
So-
I love the hats too.
yeah,
I
that's hat. I should have brought a couple more stuff, but I just just to give you a touch. I don't want to overwhelm the stuff with like my products, but obviously check out my stuff at bougeestonerclub.com.
Yes. Was the process very challenging when you decided you wanted to make that transition from the kit to actual like accessories and textiles?
Yes, because obviously like I created the look of this bag, so it's just a lot of like trial and error and a lot of back and forth. Obviously, I'm dealing with people overseas, so having to get stuff like sent to me for like a sample, and then if I didn't like it, it'd be a whole nother process to be like, hey, okay, this is what I don't like. I need this size. I need this bigger. Blah blah blah. So it's a lot of back and forth. But I mean, with anything, you're gonna have to anything that you're producing from like basically scratch, you know, it's gonna take time and it's gonna evolve into something more. Because like obviously I started with a kit and then my mind just started like tumbling and I'm like, I want a whole line of stuff. So it's challenging as far as just creating something that like never exists before. But it's worth it as far as just obviously like the outcome and like now I feel like I created something that like, okay, who else has this? You know, nobody
Right.
else
No, I've
does.
never seen that ever.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
So,
Dang. I feel like somebody just started playing the game. I don't know if they can hear it, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's get into some like random questions. First of all, I want to know, do you even get the munchies anymore?
yes, I still do.
You do?
Here and there. It's not always, but I definitely know I have these like moments of like, man, I can't stop eating. And I mean, I like to eat like that's like not if I wasn't smoking, like I normally like I mean, I definitely like a good meal. But yeah, if it's kind of just depending on like I don't know really what it is because there's days where I can smoke all day long and it won't be like crazy, but then there might be other situations to where like, man,
I'm just hungry.
I think it doesn't help too, especially when I'm like go to these like events and stuff.
Oh my
When there's
gosh.
food out,
Yeah.
that's where I always fuck up because if the food's out and it's looking good and I'm high, like of course you'll always find me in the snack area. Oh my God.
You do me about the food, I'll be right there. You know,
I am always by the food, literally. It's where you can find me.
The last thing we had, we went to the first of all, I would say Cincy always has good food. When they have their events, they always have like cute little classy little trays and
Yes.
stuff like that. I did like that walking taco truck when we went to the House of Dank opening. Like that was kind of cute and like fun and
Yeah.
stuff like that though. But I think more stoner foods like that, I want to see more of those like at events or whatever. Like very tasty. Though.
Oh, for
They're
sure.
actually not that good for you though. But anyway, do
Right.
you have a munchie that you like your actual go-to munchie?
My go-to munchies.
Besides some hot chips.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, I like chips. I like things that I can just snack on and grab and like I can, not that I like watch how much I eat of it, but yeah, snackable type stuff, you know. It's very rare that I'm like high and I'm like, yes, let's go get a steak from, you know,
Prime and proper.
yeah, you know, I'm usually it's snacks. I mean, it's definitely munchy type food when I do have the munchies. You know, it's never.
You know what? That would be a good event for you. Munch and shop or something like. Okay, never mind. Let me just go. I'll think about it later. While
We'll
I'm
talk
over here,
about
be
that
like,
later.
I'll be trying to brainstorm. Like, yeah, you know, I think that you should be. Okay, so you got your munchies now. Let me ask you this random question. All right, so you and Lil Yachty are going to Poland.
Are going to where?
Poland.
Poland?
Poland.
Poland.
The country.
Okay.
You know that song?
Yeah.
Took the walk to Poland. If you were going with him to Poland, what would you bring? You're like, what the hell, girl?
Girl,
A blunt, duh.
yeah, I'm like,
What?
weed? Is that gonna be provided? Like, they smoke over there?
Do they smoke in Poland?
I don't know. You
I don't
brought up
know.
Poland.
You know what? I don't know. Is Poland?
I'm
that,
sure it's got to be at some point.
or you might
over
have
there.
to skip on over to Amsterdam, like real quick, grab you something real quick. I don't know. I don't know if it's. Damn, I don't really
Girl.
know. First of all, I ain't never been to Europe. I do need to go though one day. That's on my list of things to do.
I have been to Amsterdam.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did you? What's the weed like over there?
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Like better than American or like just
I
as
mean, yes. Yes.
Shut up.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
No one has ever gave me that actual answer. Like,
Really?
Yeah, no one said. They're just like, oh yeah, no, it's cool. No one's ever told me that it's better than American weed. I mean, I would imagine so because it's been a thing way longer legal. It's been a legal thing way longer there than it has been here.
I mean, all I can say is the places I've tried, and there was 3 different spots that I went to. The weed was phenomenal.
Really? You went to the coffee shops?
Yes.
Did they have edibles too?
Yes.
What? Are
And
they
they
like
have everything.
are they like measured
They're-
out in like milligram, like in grams and like mgs, like milligrams?
I believe so. I mean, it's been some years now.
She was like, I don't know. I was just there.
Yeah,
and
literally. I was
just
kind of like telling me, you know what they're pretty big on though, that I thought was kind of weird.
What?
So they have a lot of joints that they'll sell that is mixed weed and tobacco.
Oh, spliffs.
Spliffs.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. No,
They don't
because
call them
people-
spliffs there, but
they don't. But I can't.
they might. I don't know.
That actually is pretty. That's actually pretty smart. I mean, that kind of first of all, that stretches your weed.
I mean, I guess if you're a tobacco smoker, like,
But people get
if you
extra
didn't
little
know
high.
though, if you didn't know, they'll give you that first. So
Oh.
I remember like I was smoking one and I'm like, what is this? At first
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, Amsterdam's really got it fucked up. Like, they don't know what they're doing here. But no, that's like, I don't know why, but that's
I think one, because it's not a lot of weed in it, because spliffs is a combination between the tobacco and the weed, so they don't have to put a lot of weed in it, so they can sell it at a decent price. And I think people still get a little extra high from it because the tobacco gives you like that little it helps you hit it better. And I think that people just kind of like need like a
Right.
in between. I think that's probably why they probably
yeah.
thought you were like some starter beginner. That's probably like
You're
they starter
probably
joints.
right. You're probably right.
Like-
They probably thought like, oh, it's this lightweight, whatever. But like, no,
Like no,
like
let me
no.
roll a
I
fatty.
taste that right away, and I'm like, oh hell no, because I mean, I'm not a tobacco smoker at all. I do not smoke tobacco. So when I tasted that
Exactly.
right away, I was like, what is going on? And I'm like, no. And so they were like, oh, you have to order from this menu, and we're like, why wouldn't you tell us that? But okay, whatever. But Amsterdam, the weed is
Really? Okay, I
Off
do
the
need
chain.
to go there. My old boss at Gage, he lives there. I used to work at Gage. He lives there. He's always like, you need to come and visit me and my wife. And I'm like, I should.
You
I need
should.
to.
You
Like, I
should.
definitely need to. But then it was like COVID, and then my dad died, and it was just kind of like, okay, I don't know. But
yeah. I mean, I absolutely want to go back. I mean, that's a place where like, that's-
well, I mean, I guess we're gonna Cindy. I guess we're going to. I'm gonna ask Delisa too. We need to make a girls trip to Amsterdam. That would be real
oh
cute.
my gosh,
Dang,
that
I
would
wish
be
one
amazing.
of us was getting married soon. It's not
Maybe it's
me.
you.
It's not me. I don't even got one of these.
Girl, you on your way. It's okay.
And I know. I'm making my way, y'all. I'm making my way. I'm close. Well, I'm close to getting a boyfriend, maybe. Hopefully. I ain't putting my business out there. They're gonna be like,
Girl, you know they want all the tea.
I know they always want the tea though, but you may never get another. You might get a little drop though, but never too much. No. Anyway, okay. So yeah, marriage. Your husband, he's in the cannabis industry too.
Yes.
Still.
Yes.
Wait. Your husband that you are married to today, was that your husband back? That was
my boyfriend when he
was your
first started
boyfriend back
growing.
then. Okay.
Yes.
And
So
are y'all? Is he? you're in the cannabis. Is he still in it today?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yes.
obviously that was same situation with him with the whole getting raided and stuff. That was his grow that I was helping him with. And then his dispensaries obviously that I was working at. So once with the licensing and stuff, when that got cracked down, he ended up selling his dispensary to another well-known team of people. And so he had to let go of that and then eventually moved into the private club, which he allows people who are members to come and enjoy your smoke and chill and relax and stuff. So that's how he kind of pivot, but
Right,
still in the
yeah.
cannabis as far as was growing and is like
Shout out to your husband. He's club. He's a cool man.
yeah.
He's dope. He's
Shout
dope.
out to the Craft Cannabis Club.
Shout out to Craft Cannabis Club. Talking like I don't know. This is not about him though. This is about you. But it's about you, right? Because everyone, I'm shy.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that people don't know about you is that you are married, not because like you're hiding it, but more so like your Instagram is like your business card. It's like your portfolio. Like you don't need to know
Yes.
everything about my life, and you don't need to know my dog's name.
Right.
If I have a dog or a cat.
See, and like it's it too. I mean, obviously, I have a dog. I don't know. There's not even really real reason why I don't post him.
Who, your husband or the dog?
Both. But yeah, I mean, like even my dog, like as much as I love him and stuff, you don't ever see me post about him. I
You
don't.
probably could get you some endorsements from posting him though.
I know. I did think about that just because I'm like he's so freaking cute
Yeah,
and like
some little
sassy
CBD,
too.
yeah,
That
I
like.
know.
I mean, literally, the videos of him just being like sassy pants would be probably a hit.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but
Soon
like
as somebody come to your house,
yeah, exactly.
I'm like, dang,
I
I've
know.
been here before.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, when I transformed my page, I mean, obviously he was on there when it was my personal page, but when I decided to go the Instagram route or the influencer route, I wanted to focus solely on that. Because then, yeah, I was just like, okay, this is my portfolio. I want to be about my business. I wanted to, not kind of intertwine the two.
Yeah.
And mainly also because I seen a lot of people who did have a cannabis page would have their own personal page too and just keep it private. But I didn't feel like I didn't want multiple pages. That's just
Yeah,
annoying,
just
So
one and
I
done.
just, when I do post personal stuff, it'll be here and there, but it's also to show that I'm obviously human too. I don't want it to be just all like cannabis, 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 I do other stuff too.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't want my page to focus solely on that. I didn't want it to be like,
Oh, here's my life.
yeah,
My husband,
yeah,
home,
exactly.
and dog.
So I wanted to just
Baby.
separate the two. And then obviously the people who I interact with and people who I love and care for and like do further business with, like you'll get to know me and get to know that I am.
Right. Yes. If you know me, yeah, that's how it is. Like, if you know me in person, then you know me in person. If not, this is what you're going to get on the internet.
Yeah.
But I do have a question though. Since y'all been together for so long, like, how do you make that relationship last? Like, what have you learned? Like, not what have you learned? Like, what do you feel like is the key to making a relationship last? I mean, obviously y'all been through some stuff like, with the raids and, all the legal things you had to go for 5 years, like, and y'all still together, y'all still managed to be together. Like, what do you just like, what do you think is like the one thing you've like learned to making a relationship last that whole time?
Change is inevitable.
Yeah.
In all aspects. I mean, whether it's your surroundings, which you can't control, and then even yourself, which even though you think you control, you kind of can't because you learn from situations, you grow and stuff. So just know that the person you meet or you fall in love with in the beginning is not going to be the same person even a few years later. You're always evolving. I mean, he met me at a pretty young age. I was 18.
Oh,
Um, yes.
dang.
So, I mean, you
Yeah.
got to imagine I'm not the same 18-year-old girl anymore, you know?
Yeah,
I'm a
no, definitely.
woman who's
Yeah.
transformed over the years and drastically. And so has himself, you know, he's evolved and it's, we're all always evolving. So I think that's where a lot of people get kind of almost stumped at because you almost feel like you're two separate people and you go down that, oh, we're two different people, we're separating or we're not going the right direction or whatever, but really you still are, you just are always learning together.
Yeah.
So you just always got to remember that like what worked then might not work now because it's a different situation. You're not the same people then.
Right.
So you always just got to give each other that grace because it's tough. I think all relationships go through it. You get to that point to where you're like, okay, which way are we going with this? And if you don't come to that realization that like you both have to keep constantly relearning each other, then you're not going to make it, you know, because there are going to be things that you and your spouse can't control outside of you, which is already tough enough. But then for you and your spouse to be on the same page consistently, I mean, that's the hardest part
Yeah.
itself, you know.
Yeah.
Like that external stuff will always change, but if you guys just always got to be on the same page and remember what the end goal is, because you're going to have different outside feelings towards things and stuff. I mean, you're never gonna, you know, obviously, even with your best friend, you know, you
Right.
don't always get along with your best friend, right?
Right.
And you know that can get messy sometimes, but it's just kind of, it's also you got to remember what the goal is, and if you guys are still both on that same path, it'd be different if obviously if I was feeling one way about the goal and then like his goal changed about it, you know, then we're not on the same path. That's why it's not like correlating.
Yeah.
But once you guys are and you know you realize what the bigger picture is, and that's just it too, you always gotta look at the bigger picture, like always, as hard as it is, you always gotta look at like the bigger picture and how to maneuver through things because everything is constantly changing.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously look at COVID showed us that just like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you always got to maneuver no matter what, and you can't ever feel comfortable because it's always going to be
Oh,
uncomfortable.
that's a good one. Never getting comfortable in a
Yeah,
relationship.
because that's it happens too. You get
Is that like the
comfortable
kiss of
moments.
death for relationships? Getting comfortable.
I wouldn't say kiss of death, but
Right.
you
Educate
should
because I've
never
been single for
feel
years.
comfortable because I mean, you yourself shouldn't feel comfortable because you're changing yourself, you know?
Right. No, that's
So
facts.
just always know that everything's always evolving and stick to the goal and always have each other's back, you know, because you can fall off of that too while you're chasing your own goal. You know, you might forget, like, oh, you know,
Yeah. No, for real, because you definitely you saying those things because I feel like we're just so disposable of people nowadays. Like with in dating. Well, I mean, you haven't been in the dating market that I know of. Just kidding. You haven't been in the dating market, so like it's so easy for in today's dating market. Like it's so easy just to just throw people away. I mean, we have
Yeah.
so much access to people so easily through like our social media and dating
Absolutely.
apps and like even just more events and stuff happening, you know, us be able to see each other face to face. Like there's more ways for us to stay connected globally nowadays than ever before. And so like it's you know someone is changing. Okay, well you know what, I think I'm done with this, let me go on to the next person. Like
Right.
you know what, that lesson to evolve with somebody and to grow with somebody is not there. It's not really, you know, it's kind of like a talk,
Absolutely.
tongue-in-cheek thing, but it ain't
Yeah.
really that. I'm gonna take that with me. Thank you. Putting that in my.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna put that in my purse.
Yeah.
I dropped it technically. Let me just grab it again. And put it. Take it with me. Okay. Well, before we go, I do want to know what is one thing that is someone has told you that's always stayed with you. Two things actually. What is the best piece of advice that you've gotten, something that's always stayed with you that someone has told to you. Did I say that right? Ugh.
Well, for one, you didn't prep me on this question.
I did not prep you on this question. Okay, you know what, but we can keep that moving. So, but I will ask you.
I mean, I'll answer it, but
I did not prep you on that question. My
you
bad.
did not prep me on that. So I
But
felt like I
wasn't
would have
this
had this like
whimsical answer? But you do know what you would tell somebody if they were trying to come and follow the path that you're taking. Like, what advice would you have for them?
be consistent, because you're gonna feel like at moments, and I mean any business owner, not just even cannabis, is gonna have those moments where you feel like you're not doing enough, or it's not moving fast enough, and it's not a race. And that's something I have to keep telling myself. This is at least from my point of view of just dealing with being in this and in multiple businesses, that it's not a race. Just because you're not where you want to be does not mean you're not going to get there. Keep pushing, keep networking, keep putting yourself out there, and always put out work that you're proud of.
Oh, that's and
Yeah.
no BS.
Yes, like, you know, don't half-ass it. Don't cheap out. Don't
Cheap out.
Yeah, you know, like, I can't tell you how many times I've revised even just a logo just because I wasn't happy with it. You know, it needs to be on point in every aspect, at least from, that's just my
No, I feel you
two
on that.
cents. You know,
I feel
like,
you
you
on
just
that.
always got to, like, be on your, is it P's and Q's?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was about to say be on your best behavior, but it is P's and Q's. Cross your T's, dot your I's.
Yes. Just always be on top of it, and always just, again, just with anything, remember your goal, and always do something a little bit every day to work towards it, even if it's a little bit, you know. Just keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
And like, you'll get there. Like, and I'm not saying I'm there. Like, don't think I'm like over here like rolling in dough or anything like that. That's future goals for sure.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I know just from being consistent, like, that's how I got as far as I have been. And like, very consistent. I mean, I put myself out there. I've done everything I could, I felt like, social media wise, and still continuing to do so. I'm like, this is my first time ever being like on a like
Wait, is this your first interview?
Yes. You did. Look at her face.
This is an amazing moment. Is that why you brought the champagne?
Well, I was just trying to have some bubbly, but
Oh,
that's it.
we can still, oh my gosh, guys, this is your first. You guys, this is a show and tell exclusive. Well, I actually don't know why I didn't think about this in the beginning. Like,
Yeah,
this is
no,
your
I mean,
first-
I've talked with other people before, but never
But
like.
this is
like
your first interview.
Yeah.
I feel so honored.
So yeah, I mean, even something like this is it's really actually out of my comfort zone. This is, you know, I don't surprisingly like to be like on camera like this, and I'm all like nervous, so I keep looking at myself. I'm like, okay, this is...
I know, but you can see yourself though, because I'll be over here checking my camera like
I know,
like,
right? But
Doc done did
obviously,
it
you
with
gotta
this.
those uncomfortable situations. You gotta put yourself in them and just fucking get through that shit
Right.
and
No
kill
fact.
it. You know.
So, and this is my last question. Knowing everything that you've gone through, like the trials and tribulations, the businesses that you've developed, and where you are right now and where you are going, like going back to 15-year-old stoner shy, like not knowing what you're going to do for real with your life, like what would you tell her? Or like, how would you get her excited about life? Would you go back and tell her? Sorry, I need to get better at this question.
I would tell her passion is, I wouldn't say the only drive you need, but is the force that you will need for you to succeed in whatever you want to do. You got to have a passion for it. You know, like all those corny sayings and stuff that you see on like social media and stuff, they're true.
It's true, yeah.
They're true. So yeah, as long as you love what you do and you're passionate about it, you're gonna kill it no matter what field you're in. Doesn't have to be the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
You know? whatever you love doing, just keep watering it, and it's gonna play out well for anyone. And that's just what I did. I mean, I even tried to maneuver from cannabis, but real life, this is all I wanted to do.
This is all you want to
Yeah,
do.
so this is all I want to do. This is the field I want to be in. I want to be in this field. I will be in this field
You are.
until I'm old.
Until
This
you
is
won't.
what
Yeah.
this is what I signed up for sure.
Oh.
So that's my best advice to my younger self. And yeah, just obviously same stuff. Never give up, and just realize stuff takes time. Stuff's not overnight. As much as I want it to be overnight success, it takes time.
Right. Life ain't Amazon.
Yeah.
It ain't Amazon Prime. It ain't Amazon Prime. Aw. Well, thank you so much. I feel so honored that I was your first media show that you've been on. Like, I'm so grateful for you coming up here and sharing your story about how you got started and where you are today and where you're going. I hope anyone who's watching this, I hope you've been inspired by it. I hope that you definitely go and support my girl Shy. Follow her on Instagram. Shop at the Boujee Stoner Club because they have really nice bags. You might see my face somewhere.
You'll definitely see her
You
face.
see my face, so cute bags. The backpacks are cute. There's one that's a crocodile one. There's bags, there's hats, there's all the little essentials that you need if you're a bougie stoner. Make sure you go check her out, support her. Check out Craft Cannabis Club as well, members only. I know I can put a link in here for you to try it out for like a 7-day
Yes.
free pass.
Yep.
Shout out to the hubby and you and the hubby in the relationship. Yes. Oh, she blew him a kiss. Here's a kiss to my future husband, whoever you are.
Cannot.
I think I'm done. And we haven't even had anything to drink. Shy, thank you so much for coming. Green
Thank you
girl,
for having
Green
me.
Bane, I love you. I am so happy that we have just a new friendship that we're continuing to blossom. We're coming up on our anniversary soon. We'd have to do something, and we do need to get together, have like a stoner girls trip soon.
I love that.
I would love that too.
That might be a whole another thing.
I mean, yeah, content. Let's talk about content. Blythe on demand. Shouldn't hear you. But all right, y'all. And if y'all enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to Take Media for all of our media essentials. We love Zach. We love y'all. Ooh, I put a heart around the microphone. Let me just be a little more graceful. Can y'all see that? And make sure you follow Show and Tell on Instagram and me too. All right, I'll see you next week or next time or whenever that's going to be for episode 8. Y'all take care, be blessed. And you know what? Like I said at the end of my episode with Sydney, the best advice I would give my kid is to always roll your own blunt. And on that,